Shalom. It's good to be here with all of you. Is it a little too quiet? Can we turn our volume up slightly? Yeah. And make sure you can hear. Well, it's good to be. I'll talk for a little bit so you can tell when the volume is good. So it's good to be here. You know, Rabbi's on vacation, so it's just me tonight. I feel very honored that he trusted me to be here on my own, third week in. Is that better? All right. Fantastic. I'm excited to sing with all of you this evening. I think you probably know these words. Hallelujah, 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 amen. Hallelujah, 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 amen. Hallelujah, 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 amen. Hallelujah, 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 good it is to be together on this Shabbat evening. You probably noticed that was a very joyful setting of that text, which is interesting that I chose that for this evening because we are on the eve of Tisha B'Av, which is a sorrowful holiday coming up in our calendar. And I'll say a little bit more about Tisha B'Av a little bit later on in the service. But it had me thinking about the fact that we have a lot of duality in Judaism. There are a lot of times where we hold both sadness and joy at the same time. In fact, in just a few days after, maybe 5 or so days, I think, after Tisha B'Av is the holiday of Tu B'Av, which is a holiday all about love. So we make this big shift from sadness to happiness and love. There's all sorts of things like that in Judaism. So I wanted us to maybe hold that tonight. We'll experience some of the joy of Shabbat together this evening, but still kind of thinking about Tisha B'Av on the horizon. How can we all come holding different things to Shabbat. So how can we hold all of those things? How can we hold both joy, maybe a little bit of sadness or nostalgia, whatever it is on your mind this evening. But I wanted to bring a poem that was being circulated with some of my colleagues earlier today, and I thought it just really hit that theme. So I wanted to set our intentions this evening with these words from Mary Oliver. It's called Don't Hesitate. If you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. Give in to it. There are plenty of lives and whole towns destroyed or about to be. We are not wise and not very often kind, and much can never be redeemed. Still, life has some possibility left. Perhaps this is its way of fighting back, that sometimes something happens better than all the riches or power in the world. It could be anything, but very likely you notice it in the instant when love begins. Anyway, that's often the case. Anyway, whatever it is, don't be afraid of its plenty. Joy is not made to be a crumb. So I'm ready to bring some of that Shabbat joy in with all of you this evening, and a little bit of Shabbat light as well as we prepare to light the candles. And it's really my pleasure to invite up Lana Smith, who maybe some of you know, maybe you don't, is my almost cousin. We're actually related through marriage, so it's a very small world. So it's really my honor to invite her up this evening. Candle lighting is on page 3, if you'd like to follow along.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Do we have matches? I've been told I can breathe fire.
Oliver, you know where matches might be?
Yep, I got one.
We'll have matches in just a moment.
Oh, it is here.
We couldn't light until Rita arrived.
Want me to do stiff?
Yeah, matches, I probably have some in my car.
No, Oliver's there, I think.
Thanks.
And the race is on.
We have time, it's not quite sundown.
Okay. Oh boy.
We could do a little, sing a
I'm
little
gonna do a
Nigu.
free thing. I'll give you so that I'll.
Oh, as soon as I start singing, there's a lighter. There we go.
Here. Do you know how to use a lighter? I want to put some on the bottom of these segments and top. Stephanie, how do we use a lighter? Oh, here we go.
Okay, we're ready for Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu echad lifnei shel Shabbat.
Nice breath. Thank you for joining that adventure with me. Who knew? We'll continue with our Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat. We're on page 12 with Lechuna Ramana. We're going to go through in a little bit of a medley, and I'll try to call out page numbers as we make our way through some of these psalms, as we prepare to welcome the Shabbat bride in just a moment. Lechuna Ramana, Lechuna Ramana, Lechuna Ramana, Adonai. Lechuna Ramana, Lechuna Ramana, Lechuna Ramana, Adonai. Hariyan, Tzor Yishenu, Ekad Machana B'Todah. into our midst with Shalom Aleichem on page 24. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Imelech, Malachei Hamachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Olechem B'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Imelech, Malachei Hamachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Archuni B'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Imelech, Malachei Hamachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidchem B'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Imelech, Malachei Hamachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Continue in our service on page 26 with Chatzi Kaddish. I can't remember if you rise for Chatzi Kaddish at Temple Emanu-El or if it's for Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu. So we'll stay seated for Chatzi Kaddish. We'll rise in just a moment. Still learning. Yitkadash, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Ve'amad yirach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, Ve'echai yechon u'yom echon, u'chai lechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, u'vizman kariv, ve'imeru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam u'lam me'amaya. Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitba'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yitaleh, v'yithalal, Shemei Kudsha, Richu Leila, Min Kol Birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Tamiran be'ama, ve'imeru, Amen. Rise for our call to worship, Baruch Hu, on page 28. Page 31 at the top, let's read together. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravi. 36 with Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibartam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'lechtecha b'derech u'shofbecha u'plumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם Adonai Elohechem, Amen. Let's read together at the top of page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Mi Chamocha, page 40. Page 42. Lechaim 44. We acknowledge the sanctity of Shabbat. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'dorotam b'rit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, u'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat v'yinafash. Read together in the English. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed. Come now to the Amidah, our standing prayer. We're on page 46. We'll rise together. Sing these words, this kavanah, Onai Sefataiti Ptach, this kavanah that will help us set our intentions. And then I hope that you will sing out with me as I'm still learning some of the nuances of Temple Emanu-El's chanting of the Avot, the Imahot, and Gevurot. I'm getting there, but I will love to hear your voices in my ear as we chant together. We pray the Amidah together. Adonai Sefataiti Ptach, Ufia Gitehi Latecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Eloheinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor VeHaNorah, El Elyon, Goel Chasadim Tovim, Yeronei Hakol, V'zocher Hasei Avot, Ve'imahot, U'meiri Yehudah L'ifnei B'neihem, Yamach Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh Hakol atah Rab Le'Mashiach, Mori atah. Mechakel Chaim v'Chesed, Mechayeh Hakol v'Rachamim Hamim, Sohem Noflim v'Rofei Cholim, U'matir Asurim, U'mekayeh Emunato, L'shenei Afar, L'ilahot Arba'ah Gevurot, U'mito Melech, Melech Mebit U'mekayeh, U'matzmiach Yeshua, L'Eman atah L'Hayayot Hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh Ha'avot. Atah Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh, U'kedoshim b'chol yom Yehallelujah Selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Continue at the top in English on page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 59. Together. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, Hatov Shimcha, Lecha Na'eh Lehodot. Please be seated. I think this was Shabbat Noach. All these animals joining in. We'll have to tell them to show up again in the fall. So as I mentioned earlier in the service, Tisha B'Av, or the 9th of the month of Av, will be observed by many Jews starting at sundown tomorrow evening. A day in the middle of the summer dedicated to fasting and mourning the ancient destruction of the temple might not exactly feel relevant to us as Reformed Jews today. As a progressive movement that has embraced diaspora Judaism and abandoned the notion of rebuilding the temple, how are we to make sense of this day that falls in the cycle of our calendar each year? In the book, This is Real and You Are Completely Unprepared, The Days of Awe as a Journey of Transformation, Rabbi Alan Liu encourages us not to think of Tisha B'Av as a seemingly standalone day in the Jewish year, but rather to consider its positioning exactly 7 weeks in advance of Rosh Hashanah, seven weeks in advance of Rosh Hashanah, and using this to reframe its significance. Rabbi Liu suggests that Tisha B'Av marks the beginning of the process of teshuvah, turning or repentance, the central theme of our High Holy Days. In fact, the text that is traditionally read on Tisha B'Av, the Book of Lamentations, or Eicha, concludes with a verse that may be familiar to many of us. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva, Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. Return us to you, Adonai, let us return. Renew our days as of old. We often sing this text during the High Holy Days because the words teshuvah and hashivenu are from the same root for to return. But before we can do teshuvah, we have to allow our own walls, like those of the temple, to come down. Rabbi Liu writes, Tisha B'Av is the beginning of teshuvah, the point of turning toward this process by turning toward a recognition of our estrangement from God, from ourselves, and from others. Yom Kippur is the culmination of the process that begins on Tisha B'Av, when we acknowledge the darkness, when we let our guard down, when we turn toward the truth. The walls come down and suddenly we can see. And this recognition is the beginning of our reconciliation. It might feel too early to begin thinking about the High Holy Days. It is July, but I invite us all to consider Tisha B'Av as a starting point, or a longer on-ramp onto a process of bettering ourselves and the world in the coming year, a process that might feel even more pertinent this year than most, as perhaps we've built up even more walls in this past year or so of isolation and trauma. We can reframe Tisha B'Av, this day of collective mourning, as a chance to lament the things within our world, in our lives, or within us that cause us grief, and begin to think about turning toward a better future so that our days may be renewed in 5782. I invite you to take a moment now to think about what some of those things might be for you and how you might begin the process of teshuvah as we start our approach toward the new year. take a couple of moments. We take a moment now to bring to mind those in our lives who are in need of some healing, whether it's of mind or body or spirit. Let's take a moment to bring them into our hearts as I read their names aloud. Sandra Adams, Sally Armendariz, Hannah Bat Miriam, Eliana Bat Hannah, Ivan Aronson, Bob Bell, Robert Berg, Mort Berlant, Arnold Berliner, Sarah Weinstock, Sandy Weinstock, W.L. Bradley, Rich Burns, Esther Burton, Bob Kant, Dr. Edward Kahn, Nicole Chapman, Chu Chi, Sandra Cohen, Lori Evensky, Carolyn Franklin, Barbara Friedman, Jason Fishoff, Polly Fugit, Mandy Gillis, Harry Glade, Mary Gold, Ted Googlin, Rosie Gurman, Courtney Hansen, Linda Harris, Dr. Gary Height, Mimi Jones, Evelyn Katz McCosker, Leah Tzvia Bat Liba Ve'elchanan, Carol Lerner, Shirley Lerner, Letitia Leosi, Bobby Lotman, Austin Lucero, Janice Lucero, Karen Mack, Eva Meisel, Vivian Cooper Moore, Gunther Liebert, Brad Harkins, Stephanie Rasmussen, Carol Ross, Linda Rogers, Ben Rubin, Marilyn Rudy, Dolores Sams Hoy, Gary Sanders, Laura Sanders, Malachi Saracen, Meyer Shaddix, Don Shine, Sybil Summer, Roberta Stivelman, Donna Thyman, Pham Thi Trang, Gina Thrower, Wendy Oken-Wagle, Teresa Walsh, Jean Watson, Nancy Weisenfeld, Sue Winton, Sherman Wong, Brandon Yarkin, Madison Zales, and everyone who is suffering from coronavirus. If you are thinking of somebody in particular this evening that I did not mention, we'll take a moment to invite a chorus of their names as we bring them into our presence. Join together in our prayer of healing. Page 253. Shaberach Lecholim. Board of Trustees, Kevin Zwick, to give us some announcements.
Thank you, Cantor. Shabbat Shalom. My name is Kevin Zwick, and on behalf of Temple Emanu-El's Board of Trustees, I'm thrilled to welcome you to our in-person patio Kabbalat Shabbat. As you heard, Sunday is Tisha B'Av, the day we commemorate the destruction of the temple and other tragedies that befell the Jewish people. On Tuesday, the rabbi will still be on vacation. Good for him. So zoom in and chant with Cantor and get to know our new Cantor. Tuesday night, we're excited to restart Israeli folk dance in the Temple House. Right. Pre-registration is required. Thursday evening, join in on Sisterhood's next Zoom bingo at 7 p.m. And then next Shabbat, and through the first Shabbat of September, join us for another live in-person Kabbalat Shabbat. Please sign up to attend in person. The service will be streamed for you to enjoy from home. Coming up on Saturday, July 24th, is our next Shabbat in nature at Mount Emanu-El. I'm not from here originally. Yeah. And Shabarbecue is coming up on August 6th, right after the patio service. So both events have limited capacity, so sign up now. And this is the last week to participate in Jewish Family Services Backpack Drive. If you're able to participate, you can pick up a tag here, over there on the easel, or you can visit the link from our website where you can find backpack requests to fulfill. Items can be dropped off at the JFS office or in specially marked bins at the Levi campus. And with that, I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you very much. With that, we will turn to the concluding prayers of our service with Aleinu on page 283. And we'll rise once we all get there. 283, please rise. Thinking again of this idea of this duality, holding both joy and sadness at the same time. It's often in moments of joy, actually, that we remember those who were dearest to us. We turn to this point in our joyful Shabbat service this evening to remember those in our lives who are no longer here, to celebrate those joyous moments with us, which does bring us a little bit of sadness. In particular, this evening, in the period of Shiva, the first week, we remember Marilyn Siller, aunt of Gloria Asher. And please rise if you hear the name of a loved one. In the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days, we remember Roberta Stivelman, auntie of Lori Rush. We are in the first year of remembrance of Leon Averick, Robert Baker, Pauline Anderson Berkowitz, Tony Berliner, Roy Robert Creech, William Nelson Davenport, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Charles Green, Bob Hirsch, Rita Kane, Selma Karcham, Janet Katz, Kevin Krieger, Hal Lax, Father Bill Leniger, Marion Suni Levin, Michal Lubin, Michael Meltzer, Manny Meekdahl, Patricio Orozco, Arlene Ravel, David Reiser, Steve Reese, Cami Resnick, Edith Robinson, Stanley Rosen, Steve Rosenthal, Lois Rosette, Betty Rossman, Boris Skupiak, B. Chandler Shaw, Kit Snyder, Greg Steiler, Joel Strauss, Gunther Vogler, Carol Wachtenheim, Marty Weisblatt, Henry Wilde Sr., Florence Winnig, and Millie Wolfson. Additionally, we remember those whose yahrzeits fall at this time. Shirley Azen, Claire Barnhart, Irving Goodman Bob, Jack Brandman, Sidney Brash, Millie Briskin, Morris Berman, David A. Cohen, Dory Cohen, Ruth Kellert Cummings, Siegfried Danziger, Delwyn Edwards, Fred Shalom Friedman, Bert Gates, Helen Gates, Lionel Gilston, Bernice Green, Marion Greenfest, Frida Lair Heidorn, Gussie Hirsch, Jacob Hubert, Evelyn G. Hubert, Evelyn Hutchins, Morris Jacobs, Rose Kaufman, Max Kaufman, Ethel Cohen Kipperman, Daniel W. Kraus, Gladys Kreisberg, Stanley Landers, Joseph Lerner, Anne Luan, Herbert Marchik, Rivka Berman Marshalkowitz, Phyllis Matzner, Al May, Slava Frida Miller, Solomon Miller, Eleanor Pollock, Sarah Richards, Richard Rocker, Wayne Rose, Henry Rosenzweig, Aaron Rosenthal, Karina Salzman, Elizabeth Schneider, Sophie Schwab, Joseph Shansky, Helen Siegel, Hal Turkis, Sophie Van Rosam, and Joshua Weisenfeld. And if you're remembering somebody this evening who I did not mention, or perhaps I mispronounced a name, I invite you to please rise and share their name with us. We rise together as one community in acknowledgement of those who are mourning and remembering, and additionally for those who have no one left to say Kaddish. Page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divra chirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chai echon u'vyom echon, u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, shemei dekudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Zichronam libracha, may their memories always be a blessing. Together we say again, amen. Please be seated. We'll conclude tonight with those words that we just read, these words of peace. Oseh shalom. As soon as I get the music up, I hope you'll know this one. It's a good one. Might make you want to get up and dance a little bit, I don't know. Oseh shalom b'roma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. ready for douche. Oliver's going to help pass out our fun little personal sized grape juices. Okay, while he's doing that, we can sing a little bit of Vishamru. Give him a minute. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. And you lay b'nei Yisrael oti leolam, oti leolam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. How about that? Wow, perfect timing. I think you gotta shake the cups a little bit. Heard it tastes better, and we'll join together in Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho ve'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron le'maseh bereishit, ki hu yom tehillah le'mikra'ei kodesh, sefer yetziat Mitzrayim. Ki anu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim. V'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava u'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh ha-Shabbat. Amen. It's much easier to get through without Rabbi joking around back there. Have him back next week for all those laughs. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's been such a pleasure to sing with you, to pray with you this evening. Wishing you a Shabbat of rest and joy. Shabbat Shalom.
Wow. Yeah, I
richly blessed.